and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready, and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready, and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough.
Yo, listen. The greatness of the internet tried to keep us down. Okay, they knew what was up today. They knew this was coming. Y'all see my boy King David down there, right? Y'all, they knew what was coming and decided we're gonna give y'all issues, right? So we shifted over. But the podcast looks kind of weird because we had to use a backup, right? But for the folks who are here, yo, I appreciate y'all. It's gonna be a hell of an episode. I got my boy, one of the four horsemen. For one of the best. This hit 20K? 20K? King David? before we get going, bro, before the introductions, bump all that, bro, how has that journey been, bro? Because you guys have been climbing like crazy, 20K. How does that feel, bro?
Us when we go to these shows. So when we out there, I'm so super focused. People like, what games are you playing? Bro, I came out here to cover games. I didn't not come out here to play no games. I'll play games when I get home. Like my focus so far is to get the bag. So we didn't get the bag. 20K is fantastic, but we didn't get the bag. It ain't no bag come with 20K. So I got to keep going. I got to put my head down and keep going, keep fighting until we get to where we don't have to work no more. You know, I get up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. in the morning. I go to work. And then I come home. I go to work. Then I pick up my son. We go to the gym and I go to work. No, so the grind ain't stopped yet, but I mean, it's fantastic. But to be honest with you, I still haven't caught my breath yet from going to work.
Listen, man, before we know it, man, we're gonna blink because you guys have been doing some amazing stuff over there. You guys are a pillar in the industry. And what's beautiful about it, what I love about you guys, bro, is that you guys are doing your thing and you're making sure to put that ladder down, make sure the ladder got a good structure and allowing other people to climb. Because not everybody does that. And I'm gonna always give you guys flowers.
I got something bubbling. And it's so dope because, you know, my whole thing is I'm trying to figure out how to interconnect everybody, right? Everybody that we mess with, because there's people out there we don't mess with, you know, and that's just because those individuals choose to be certain individuals, right? Yeah. So, but and I'm like, okay, so we're spot checking where people are on the map. Like we got a big map out, we spot checking exactly where people are on the map and how we can interconnect with everybody, right? And the next plan that I got going on, because the first plan I had was making sure everybody had on cameras, right? Mm-hmm. And that plan was successful because every podcast that you know now, you know your face, you know the people that you talk to, you know the personalities. That's something that endears you to everybody that watches. So everybody that watches you understands, oh man, Fame and them is on. Oh, you know, it's just it gives you a deeper level of connectivity, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to take that a step further. And the guys are resistant, but they was resistant with cameras. So, so I'm just like, I'm the marketing manager for a reason. And I got a vision and I got a focus and just trust with me and we're going to get there. But this vision is actually grander because it includes everybody. And I mean, everybody we mess with. So you'll see. And then when we are ready to announce the thing, you in it too.
Hey.
Look at him.
Look at him. To the ground. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's gonna be greatness. I know it's gonna be greatness.
It's gonna be fun, man.
It's gonna be greatness.
I love when we go to these shows and then we see people. But what I don't like is everybody go to the shows, but they go in there separately, right? Mm-hmm. We got to know. All right, as a community, all right, y'all all meeting up at PAX. What are we gonna do on a grand scale as a team? Because we're all one big functioning team, right? And they had a community room at Grown Women Gaming. Yeah, I wish I knew ahead of time. You know, we made it our business to get up there to support, but I wish we knew it ahead of time because we can turn it into something grander. You know, come with banners. Well, what can we bring? What snaps can we get? How many people can we get to come up inside that room? And then we can do something else, like we could do raffles or whatever. I don't care. But if we do it as a team, we lessen the burden on everyone else, and then we can just make it just a bigger spectacle. I know we can do it because I have belief in the people that we work with. I have belief in everybody.
Hey, listen. I can't wait, man, because what everything y'all touching is turning to gold right now. And
I wish.
Again, I just want to make sure before we get going, because I know people are excited to talk about line crying, Jim riding. I want to make sure that when the king arrived, he got his flowers. So I had to make sure that gets done. But listen, We're gonna get on to introductions. First up, my right hand, man, the floor hugger with the hardest of hearts. What's going on, sis?
Oh, it's a struggle bus. Discord crapped the bed on us. My mic is sounding like this, so it's been a Tuesday. It's not Tuesday. Been a Wednesday, so I'm excited to just talk about video. This week is so long. I'm excited to talk about video games and be here with David and Keith, and we're just gonna be. And Bordy might show up if she can, and we're just gonna have the family. Y'all get your own drinks. We're not getting up for you. You get your own drinks, and let's talk about some video games and talk about Jim Ryan.
Man, listen. Next up, my brother who runs theouterhaven.net, Shadow Warrior,
Thank you very much.
Keith. What's going on, brother?
Man, it's just another day in paradise. And I know I say that and probably being a little bit sarcastic, but I can't complain. Things are going great. I'm alive. My family's doing great. I can't complain, right? I'm good.
That part.
And y'all know what it is. We just started the podcast with Mr. Hold the Line himself. Who you know that God was on my side when I had already booked King David to come on the podcast, and Jim was like, "No, I see him over there. He held that line too strong. I got to pack it up." King David of the Iron Lords podcast. What's going on, bro?
Oh my God, you know what it is. I cannot wait to dig into these topics. I told dudes he wasn't gonna make it past the fiscal period. Everybody was laughing at me. Shut up, you don't know what they talking about, King. I said snitches get stitches in 2023, B. he looking like what? Easy to block captain. You ain't see him for a month, right? At the Papoose knocked his eye loose, right? We ain't see Jim since he was snitching, bro. Hey, man.
Listen, I had a completely different podcast, and we're gonna get to some of that, right? We're gonna get to some of the stuff that I had set up. But this news, right? But before we really get into the grit, it's gonna be lots of jokes, and if you're sensitive, I'm sorry. It is what it is. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun tonight, right? But before we get to the jokes, all jokes aside, right? If Jim, we hearing Jim Ryan is leaving PlayStation, right? And if it's due to mental health, I always got a place in my heart for men taking care of their mental health and doing right. Much love to you. Retire, take care of yourself, okay? But Jim Ryan, president, CEO, announces he is retiring after 30 years with Sony Interactive Entertainment. He said over the last year, the stress of his home and you going back between the UK and stuff he had to do in the United States has become a burden upon him, right? And he got to pack it up and get up out of here. Hikori Totoki, I pronounce names wrong, will be taking over in his place starting April 1st, 2024. So, of course, you already know, I got to start with King David, all right? I'm going to come to you because, listen, a lot of PlayStation fans was not liking Jim Ryan. Let's keep it a buck 50. When you're hearing about gas titles, when you're talking about games going to PC, when them sort of looking more and more with the vision of Xbox and them being in first place and looking back at what the third place person is doing, they didn't like that, right? So now we're hearing that he's leaving. People say, "Oh, this sucks." But PlayStation Nation, y'all wasn't feeling Jim Ryan, and on top of all of that, he got the pressures of making y'all happy. Because y'all want nothing but third-person cinematic, over-the-shoulders, action-adventure games with a little bit of stealth element. That's what you wanted over and over and over again. He's saying gas, and y'all getting in his ass, right? So it wasn't just the stress of him going back and forth between the UK and home. Y'all stressed this man out because he had to be perfect in every way. Y'all didn't like the fact that he was starting to look more and more like Phil Spencer, who was a wolf in sheep clothing this whole time. But King David... I kneel to you, good sir. Jim Ryan is leaving. He couldn't take it. You predicted this. Your thoughts on Jim Ryan saying, "I'm gone"?
Man, he got enough freaking flying miles to last a lifetime. He was going to Brazil. He was going to Europe. He was going to the United States. He was on a world tour snitching to everybody that would listen. And what happened? It caught up to him. I already told you. See, the problem is, and listen, first, I'm going to give you the caveat. And this is the only caveat y'all going to get because y'all wasn't playing that when Bonnie Ross was leaving from 343.
Mhm.
All right, y'all didn't have no mercy on Bonnie Ross when she left, and she said it was family stuff, and y'all just really didn't care, and y'all went in on her.
Nope.
Yeah,
And I
remember
know her,
that.
and I was completely 100% sympathetic to exactly what went down in her situation. This situation, I'm not sympathetic at all. But I'm gonna say this: if the stress of the job forced you to leave, you got to be built of sterner stuff. You got to be
You
built
wanna
like
build
Phil
Ford
Dominus
Tough?
Maximus Aurelius Spencer. You know, you got to be built like the golden one. The one, soon as they start talking crap, he pull up. He answered the tough questions. This dude ain't never answer a tough question after something went wrong yet. So, I mean, it's inevitable to understand that you caused the biggest collapse in PlayStation history. They never even had to go to the FTC. None of this stuff never had to happen.
Nope.
He did this. He thought he was bigger than his britches and found out your wallet ain't as big as the wallet that was in front of you. You overestimated your value. So what happens when you overestimate your value? You found out exactly how much you really was worth. It was like the price is right, and they pulled the stick off your behind, and you was $2. You was too short that I knew when you cost them the lifetime Call of Duty and you only got 10 years. You was done.
Mm-hmm.
Phil would have worked with you no matter what. Would have kept it peace. You would have got games, but you wanted to be greedy. You felt entitled, like a lot of your fan base. The fan base feels entitled because right now everybody feels that Starfield's supposed to be on their box, and if it ain't on their box, it's trash. So you felt entitled. So you ran to the teacher and you told them what was going on, even though you was doing the most felonious things in the world. See, this is what really happened. They cannot go back to the underhanded ways anymore.
Oh, that's over.
They can't go back to those contracts. Don't mess with Xbox. Don't put stuff on Game Pass. Don't do this. Don't do that. They can't go back to that. It's a light shining on the rats. So now you got to operate in the light. Paperwork came out. You ain't really number one, you're number 3. Financially speaking. You sell the most units, but financially, you in last place. How is that? So now they want to do games of service. See, everybody thinks Jim being out now is going to change the thought process of them doing games of service. They're going to go back to single player, story-driven narrative. We'll be great again. Dummy. It takes 5 to 8 years for that to happen. You're already in 3 years worth of games of service. So you got to get these 5-year games of service games out first. Is a line now. So those games is going to go at the end of that. These have to be seen through first because it's research and development. These games are already in mid-cycle. Bungie is overseeing all the games of services. They overworking Bungie. It's going to be a point when Bungie leaves. Then you're going to be left high and dry. It's going to be a boat without a rudder. Now you stuck out in sea because we already know when Bungie feels overstressed, undervalued, underappreciated, what does Bungie do? Leave. You gave them the $1 million 3-year contract per employee so they don't leave for the first 3 years. Then what happens after that? They're going to get up and leave. So your games of services are going to be left out there. That's going to fail. I don't think not one of those games hit. I saw Helldivers.
That's what, February? That's coming out pretty soon, ain't it?
Yes. Yes, sir. That's going to get the ball rolling. Jim's vision will not be seen through. PlayStation Now, when he switched PlayStation Now and combined it and did all that, he thought it would be a success. It's an utter failure. Again, that's why they stopped reporting those numbers. Listen, I told you it wasn't going to be a PlayStation 6. I told you they're going to become an app.
No PlayStation 6, King?
No, No, it
You
will
sound
not
like
be.
Baron.
But see, yes, research and development always happens in every company. We gotta plan for the future, because if you don't plan for the future, you just you ultimately gonna fail. All companies plan for the future. There's been plenty of consoles that was in development that never saw the light of day. The company folds. I right now can go get me a Nintendo PlayStation right now with the right amount of money. I can get an M2 machine from 3DO with the right amount of money. I can get the Saturn Neptune with the right amount of money. All these consoles were going to come out. I could get an NEC Super FX2 for the right amount of money. Console's not going to come out. They're going to probably get sold to what is it? Apple. I was thinking Netflix.
That's been a rumor for the longest time.
Yeah, I was thinking Netflix, and the only reason why I say Apple is because of the PS VR2. I don't think Apple's strategy for their VR is viable.
No.
And Apple wants to be in the console market, and they want to be in the gaming space. With Sony's IPs, they can take that console to the next level, and they can oversee the quality control. And they have enough money to stay afloat to keep throwing money into a failing project if one of those games or services don't hit.
Apple
They
could be an
have
issue
the
for
ability to
Microsoft.
do that. Right.
Apple
So
could be an
because
issue
those are
because
the
they
big
got the
three.
money. Yeah.
Those are the big three: Apple, Google, and Microsoft. Those are the big three. It ain't Sony in that boat. So does Jim stepping down shock me? No, I told you he was. He wasn't going to survive this trial. This trial did more to hurt Lena Khan and Jim Ryan than anything else. And the problem with this, all Lena needs is a win. She's going to dig hard enough. She's went straight after Amazon. Left the Microsoft bag alone because she saw it was dead food over there. She's going straight after Amazon right now. If she can get a win over at Amazon, you'll forget everything that went wrong.
Listen, I'm gonna get some of these super chats really quickly. My bad, y'all know I'm dying, so I'm popping cough drops mid-show. My apologies. Jay Rambo to our super chat. He says, "One time for line Jim Ryan retiring." My boy got bars.
Man.
Raiden Blade says, Jim Ryan showing the door for losing all of ABK. Phil offer all of ABK according to Lulu. Jim say, "I can block this. It didn't happen. All he got was COD." Hustle site, hindsight what Hustle says, "Love y'all. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the love." Raiden Blade says, "Jim got the U.S. Congress and JFTC looking like SIE. Damn." Woo! Adidas Zero. Well, let me scroll down here. He says, he says Sony pushes Jim Ryan out the door after failing to block ABK personally. You see the trend here, right? It's not a coincidence. And Keith, I want to swing to you. I want to get your thoughts early as well. I know, again, I talked about people respectful for mental health. I respect that. What you got to do. If you got to retire, that's what it is. But the timing of this is we're right before your only big game of the year. And I'm not trying to be funny. What else has PlayStation released first party this year? Is it just going to be Spider-Man?
No, didn't they release what was in the early part of the year? It was one game in the beginning of the year, right?
And that's rare for Sony. What was it?
That's the problem because we can't remember what that game was.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's an issue. But go ahead, Keith. My apologies.
No, everything that King said is right on the point. The only problem that I have is I will give Jim his flowers for, and you know I'm a big PC gamer, for putting PC games or putting PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 games onto the PC. Pushing that initiative is something that I wanted to see from the PlayStation camp for a long time. Now, I do question when he's officially gone, what will happen with that? And to bring up another point, David mentions that, maybe Apple will absorb PlayStation. Apple and Microsoft have been enemies since they stopped being friends decades ago. Mm-hmm. So the question would be, if that's the case, will we continue to see PlayStation games on the PC as well? I think they're on a roll with that. And they just announced that Horizon Forbidden West is coming to the PC early next year. So we're getting a bunch of great PlayStation games onto the PC. But going back to the FTC, and he just made a spectacle of everything. He was akin to a child not getting what he wanted. And it was ridiculous. And it was like, this is your CEO acting like a child.
You see the emails that the way he emails was like how people talk on Twitter. And he constantly wanted emails
like, look, we'll give you Call of Duty. We got no problem. You know, we have no problem. We're trying to extend olives to everybody. We got Call of Duty going to the Switch. No, I don't want it. I want it all. Really? You're acting like this? But you act like everybody is friends, kumbaya, where you're on stage, whatnot. But then when they're trying to actually offer you something and deal with you and try to make everybody play together, you're like, nah, I don't want that. Did you see Nintendo fight? Nintendo was like, bet, I'll take that. No problem. Sony's like,
I don't want a new deal. I just want to see your deal fail.
See,
I want you to crash and burn.
The problem with that, and I only say this, Nintendo didn't have Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
So Jim is coming from a standpoint, he got the marketing rights. Right? So, I mean, it's like you offering me something I got already, bro. Right? You can't offer somebody who got a Lamborghini. Then you're gonna be like, that's nothing to me.
That's
but
the
Nintendo
right
didn't
there.
have it. Yeah.
Just because it was always in front of your face, it was never your brand. You didn't own Call of Duty.
Facts.
You were just paying people.
Like
hey, look, I'm gonna give
he
you
was
this.
leasing.
You would give me exclusive rights for, you know what? Let me have that weapon skin for a couple months. Let me get those maps for a couple months. Let me get these things for a couple months, and then Xbox will get it later on. But it wasn't yours.
He's a glorified renter.
Damn. Oh, you got a brand new Benz? How much you pay for that? Oh, it's a lease.
It's a lease, baby.
And even going back to the Starfield thing, right? It's been out there for a long time that PlayStation was trying to get Starfield. It wasn't like anything new. We knew about this. There was rumors and whispers about this for years, and then people get pissed off at Xbox, like, you know what? We just take the whole bag, thank you. But you get mad about that. Well, you know, if PlayStation wasn't trying to go and make this an exclusive thing in the first place, this is supposed to go to everybody. PlayStation's being sneaky. So Xbox is like, no, we got it. We're going to take it. So now you don't have it. Think about that. Think about that for a second. Like, come on. If you would have benefited, just like this Call of Duty deal, if you had just taken what was offered to you.
You still have a job.
Listen, you want to be running to retirement because it's not like he's old. He's a couple of years older than Phil Spencer, right?
Nah. Look at his face, man.
Yeah.
Stop playing with me, man. Somebody lying on their birth certificate, man. He was born 20 years old. Stop playing with me, man. You got Benjamin Button syndrome. Come on, man. Stop playing with me, man. He was born old. Don't play with me, man.
This announcement just came at the right time. Jeez, it was just like, fam, you know what you did? You willed this to existence. That's what you did. You knew this was going to happen. You knew it.
As soon as I DM King David, he was like, I'm out.
I told people before, I'm heavy into manifesting, heavy into bringing in what you want to exist, right? I'm heavy into that, and you got to put the grind work in. But I'm also heavy into symbolism, and I watch a lot of things, and I see a lot of things. Like when you train your mind to certain things, you see certain things differently. I saw how Phil would position himself on stage. I saw how Phil would position himself around people. Mm-hmm. When he's positioning himself around people, he's positioning himself as the alpha. All right, the alpha ain't the loudest person in the room. Don't ever get that confused. The most quietest person is the most deadliest person. If somebody can be calm in the midst of chaos, that is a bad man. Now, you cannot tell me Microsoft has not been in chaos since he's taking over. And he has done nothing but had a smile on his face. He's been shaking hands and kissing babies the whole way. And then we get the chance to see the paperwork. At the same time, he trying to buy everybody.
Bro,
Nintendo
listen.
not see. Your girlfriend is his girlfriend. I'm telling you right now, that's Mr. Steal Your Girl for real. And he got enough money to wait you out. You miss a payment, he's sliding in your DM saying, "What's up, big head? How you doing?"
Hey, he coming in and taking over your lease and just buying the car.
Oh, for real. For real. Having problems with Jalise? He's one of those dudes.
I'm gonna go ahead and buy you.
He's a lender.
Let me buy you out of that, big dog. You can't afford that.
I'll get you out of that. That's too much for your back.
You behind on your payments? I'll get you out of that. Don't worry. Daddy
Slide
got
that
you.
to me. Just sign that over to me. See, this was the last year Call of Duty on the PlayStation brand. He don't care if it's inside the PlayStation Plus service. He don't care because PlayStation has to pay for that. It ain't no, oh, we give it to you. You have to give us the expected revenue. Well, with the financials, the expected revenue on Call of Duty is $500 million on the PlayStation console. They gonna give Phil $500 million for the exclusive right to play it too. You guys, yo, you don't know how bad this has hurt the PlayStation brand. We found out God of War is not enough. Horizon's not enough. Nathan Drake's not enough. There's a reason why he said we're going. Well, here's a reason why he said y'all wasn't enough. But there's a reason why he said we're going to games of service and blockbusters. Mm-hmm. Only the blockbusters. We're gonna make the remakes. We're gonna do the add-ons, but we're only gonna concentrate on this. Everything looks like a failed passion project. The PlayStation VR 2 failed project. I told you it was DOA before it came out. That handheld, that Portal,
that
looks
joke.
like
Jeez, that piece of crap. That is a joke.
That's an absolute joke, right? Because I said, okay, there's a market for it if it had some type of proprietary a medium for it to use, right? If it's an actual handheld that you can play offline, you can take it wherever you go. Same form factor, you just got to make it. So I thought it would be $399. This was my conversation. I didn't think they were that stupid to make a machine that only worked with the PlayStation if it's on the Wi-Fi. I didn't think that in my mind, I couldn't conceive that to be done. That's why it's $200 because there's nothing in there, right? So I'm saying that looks like a passion project. The PlayStation is the worst poorly designed console from Sony yet. When that guy took apart the innards, they didn't send it over to Digital Foundry like Microsoft send over the Series X and S. When you got to do your own tear down and you don't allow somebody to get in and tear it down and talk about the parts, it's a mess. Because that guy, when he took it all apart and all those pieces was out on the table, all I yelled from across the room was, "Now put it back together." Can't do it. So it's just, to be honest with you, I think they let the wrong people have too much control. Mark Cerny is the person that was at the helm when Sega crashed and burned. Never forget that. He was at the helm. He designed the PlayStation 4. Beautiful machine. He also designed the PlayStation 5. A mess of a machine. It juggles. If it needs power, it'll take away from the CPU and go to the GPU. If it needs computing speed, it'll take away from the GPU and go to the CPU. Microsoft uses a stable box. It's purposeful. The PlayStation isn't purposeful. It's a fluctuating machine. They was using parity clauses to make their games look equal to or greater than the Xbox. It's just too much stuff going on there. I can understand why he's not going to be around.
Listen, shout out to Lord Starvin, one of the other 4 horsemen with the super chat. He says, "Oh damn, King brought out the crown. Every king gotta have his crown." Shout out to Lord Starvin, man. Geek Life Mike. He says, showing love, peace. I appreciate Mike, man. Mike is a real cool dude. If you on X or Twitter, if you call it, go check out Geek Life Mike, man. Hell of a follow. Adidas Zero, thank you for coming. One of the newest members of Level 1 Gaming. I appreciate the support. Teo says, has King Pony show? Say my hooves! Listen. King PlayStation was going to come tonight, right? Then he seen King David and galloped away. What can he say? His Lord and Savior Jim is gone. King David is in that building. You think King PlayStation was going to show up tonight? He thought about it. But then when this happened, he couldn't show face. Raiden Blade says, remember, SIE only gives away games when hacked. That was, 2011?
Yes.
The first time Sony was really hacked like that, right? We could sort of get into that as well. There was 2011. 2014, Sony was hacked. Remember when they did that movie with Kim Jong-un? Y'all remember that?
Yep.
And they hacked. It was like, yo, y'all not releasing that movie, and made it go to home only and on Netflix, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we got, I think, something happened in 2017. I can't remember. There was some type of breach in 2017. I can't remember what it was. And then you got this, right? And a lot of people say, oh, this isn't real. This is fake. You got to be a fool.
This is real.
This is real. And Keith, I'm going to swing to you. You got to be a fool. I'm going to ask you this, Keith. Do you got your credit card information on PlayStation? Because, bruh.
My card is nowhere. Nowhere. No. No.
Your thoughts on, number one, if you got any more thoughts about my man here. And number two, on Sony getting hacked again. Are we not taking security serious over there at Sony?
Well, I will say this. I do also want to follow up. If Jim is serious about this being mental health, again, as you all mentioned, this is definitely something that's very serious.
Take care of yourself, King.
I've dealt with mental health. Like I said, I lost my mom and my brother back in 2021, a month after each other. So that put me in a very downward spiral to the point where I disappeared for a month. I just couldn't do it anymore. But yeah, it if you don't take care of yourself, you will learn the hard way that it will mess you up. So I hope that if that's the case, that he takes care of himself. As far as Sony and security, man, this is a touchy point for me being an IT guy, right? Dealing with this stuff. And it's like, how many times do you need to get compromised before you actually learn your lesson? Like, what exactly are you not doing over here at PlayStation? And why isn't it that something hasn't been done outside of a private sector? And why isn't the government now getting involved? Because this is ridiculous. You were gambling with people's money, people's livelihood, access to credit cards, information, where they live, all this stuff. And we've got systems in place like this, like, for example, HIPAA. When we deal with HIPAA at our company, if we drop the ball on that, we are going to get crushed.
You're getting in trouble. We
are getting crushed.
Yeah.
So why is it this company constantly gets compromised and it's like, oh, we just got compromised again? Again? What they take? We don't really know. Just documentation. Are you being truthful? You mean to tell me that somebody broke into your company and maybe you did set up a honeypot to trap somebody? Maybe. But you mean to tell me they just got log files and Java and HTML? I mean, seriously, if I was compromising you, I wouldn't be leaving looking at this crap. This is not going to help me have any leverage against you to blackmail you.
Because they have until tomorrow, right? They gave them, the ransom company gave them until tomorrow to come up. We'll figure out what they're going to do, or they're going to just drop it everywhere.
Look.
And they offered to give it back. So listen, I'm gonna use, because I said it before, in this country, you're rich or you poor, right? Middle class is dying. So I'm gonna use broke people terms. Broke. If King, I magically appear in your house, and I take some of them statues. I go outside and say, hey, you give me $5. Not only will I give it back to you, I would tell you how I got in your house and took it. And you be like,
All right,
no.
give me my shit back. Here's $5.
You be like,
I'm done.
no.
Here you go.
But that's what's happening.
Nah,
That's what we're
no.
hearing. They have the opportunity to get it back and get the information on how they got it.
We
they're
don't
refusing to pay.
negotiate with terrorists.
You need to negotiate with these terrorists.
I don't know about that. I mean, if that's going to destroy my livelihood, yo, I'm talking. Let's go. You need to tell me how you did this so I can turn around and fix this.
Shadow, you know why this happened, right?
No.
They were working with Microsoft. They were on Azure Cloud Service before.
Aren't they still on
stopped.
Azure? They left. Oh.
Oh, damn, I didn't know that.
Remember when this deal started with all of this stuff? People forget all the little news. They're not dead no more.
Where'd they go? I mean, it's
They
only
went
they on
right
Amazon?
back to AWS.
Hey, on AWS. God,
Never
no.
mind. Never mind.
So trickling over, Microsoft said, and take that with you.
And why
Give me
would
the
you do
keys.
that? I mean,
You ain't give me these keys.
that's the pettiness right there. That's the pettiness right there. Why would you? This has nothing to do with you losing out on a game. This is your company and you're dealing with Microsoft. You've had this set up for years. You have a relationship. You know how this works. There are things in place. There are security measures in place, everything. And now you're like, nah. And you expect to just have that up and running on another company and on a matter of months? That's not how that works. For all you know, you left something open. They found it.
Surprise.
And they found it.
And they said, did you want it back?
It's like, did you set up the permissions right on Azure? Because Azure's permissions are, for somebody who deals with it, is weird. Their stuff is weird. So
you don't hear these breaches happening at Microsoft.
No, you don't hear that happen at most places. This is
Nintendo.
ridiculous. This is like what, the fourth or fifth time for PlayStation?
In 12 years. 4 times in 12 years, Sony has been breached.
That's why I use
and
Amazon
people are
gift
still
card.
putting their debit card on their PlayStation account as if them giving you a game for the PSP gonna make it all better again.
Listen,
that was a joke. That was a joke.
Yeah, that's absolutely egregious. I mean, not to laugh at somebody's information being stolen and the stuff that can happen to the common folk. Mm-hmm. It's one thing that this stuff happens to individuals. Let me see. Sorry, it's one thing that this stuff happens to individuals that are wealthy, right? They have money in place. They can do things. They can fix stuff. If somebody happens to get your information and shuts you down, let's say your debit card is the only card that you got. Mm-hmm. You don't have any money in your pocket because right now, really, we living in a cashless society. Mm-hmm. So you really use your debit card or your credit cards all over the place, right? Or you have your Apple Gold, your whatever you have on your phone, you tap and you move and you keep moving. We're in a fast-paced society. This is what we're dealing with at this moment now. The fact of the matter is, if a person is compromised in his bank account, his or her bank account, and they don't have any other means, because I got my joint hacked not too long ago, and I called the bank and they shut off my debit card. And good thing I deal with cash as well, because I had to wait for the debit card to show up. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Mm-hmm. You got to wait. Boo-boo, that's not how the world works. The world doesn't work like that. Well, can you overnight me the card? Well, that's a fee. What the hell you mean is a fee and it's your fault? Your fault and it's my... So they have a conundrum, right? So this is passed on to the customer. The customer who just wanted to relax, have a good time, use your gaming system to ease the burden of real life. Because that's what these games is. This is our hobby. We play these to take our mind off of real life. Mm-hmm. And then real life inhabits the box. We get hacked here where we're supposed to be safe. Right? They wanted these machines online all the time. They wanted us to put our credit cards into these machines to make transactions back and forth. They told us it would be secure. Could you imagine going inside a bank and you not knowing if everybody inside the bank is going to rob you at any given moment?
As soon as you leave,
and
money
there's no
gone.
security in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So this is tantamount to that. So I feel sorry for the consumer, the customer, whose information is being held hostage, and Sony doesn't value you enough to get back your information. That's what the problem is. This is the problem now. The problem is you're not valued enough for them to say, here, whatever we got to pay to value the customer who put trust in us. They would rather value whatever they got going on and thought you was expendable. That's a huge problem. And that's the forward facing of the company. And if anybody tells me anything different, they're lying to themselves. Because if a company doesn't value the consumer that built the company, then what are you standing on? Because if you walk away from said company, they have nothing. But they know that you won't because they feel that you can't leave the situation. It's a toxic relationship that these dudes is dealing with.
Going nowhere.
And I understand it.
Get back. You leaving? Leaving?
You ain't leaving me. You need me.
You need
what
me.
you gonna do without Spider-Man? It's coming out in October. You know damn well you're gonna show up. You'll be back.
Listen, and we, you know what's funny? We giving away a copy of Spider-Man 2 announced today, the same day that Jen Ryan's leaving, which I think is absolutely last. I got a couple of super chats I want to get to. I know we getting low on time here. Raiden Blade is another new member of the Level 1 gaming channel. Thank you, Raiden, for supporting Level 1. We appreciate that. Dina Zero says, Yo King, Sony took Jim's horseshoes, snatched them up. Snatched them up. Oh, get your ass up out of here. He walking away barefoot.
We haven't seen Jim. He could be glue for all we know.
Yo, Raiden Blade again with the $2 super chat. How many times do you have to get kicked in the nuts before you learn? That is a valid question. How many times do somebody got to hit you in the face before you realize maybe I shouldn't be fighting him? Maybe I need to leave him alone, right? And then I did this analogy the other day. I'm going to get to the last point. I'm going to get us out of here because it kind of goes to our next topic with Microsoft. You know, now that this ABK thing is coming to an end, the acquisitions are about to start back up. And the people say Xbox needs to build from the ground up. And I made this analogy. If I'm getting into the ring with Floyd Mayweather, one of the greatest boxers of all times, in a lot of people's opinion, he's a TBE in opinion. I know, King, I know you a boxer fan, right? I'm supposed to fight him. You mean to tell me that I have to put gloves on and get into a ring for 10 rounds with somebody who does this all the time and fight a regular fight? Hell no, I am sitting on Buddy. I'm going to fight my way because the end goal is to win. I'm not going to go put on some gloves and try to fight somebody knowing he going to whoop my ass. I'm not doing that. I'm going to fight Floyd my way. I'm going to hug him and I'm going to fall forward. And I'm going to wait till the bell ring. And then I'm going to win. I'm going to win my way. And Microsoft should win their way. So that means buying up studios, buying up IPs. That's what you do. But interesting point. Capcom came out. And Keith, I want to start with you. Capcom came out and said we would graciously deny Xbox if they tried to acquire us. Your thoughts on Capcom coming out loud and saying now, we don't know if Xbox made them an offer, but they're saying Xbox now we're good.
Well, a couple of things. One, I'm a big advocate of certain companies should always be third party, so everybody has access to it. I get where we're going with this. Companies are buying other companies, but there are certain companies like Capcom, Square Enix, and other companies that should be third and go for everybody. That said, Capcom's just using this to open their mouths. We don't know if Microsoft approached them. And even then, the way the world works, the way that Japan works with their companies, Microsoft is an American company. They're not allowed to go to Japan and buy a Japanese company. The Japanese government go, nah, that ain't happening. So why would you even open your mouth and say that? It's like, do you think that people don't know how this works? They just want to get some. They just want to open their mouth so people can see them and go, "Oh, that Capcom's a great company. We don't want Microsoft grabbing them." Capcom is on a strike. Capcom is back. Great, you're doing fantastic. Street Fighter, Resident Evil, you're doing great. You're back. I'm happy for you. But saying things that you have no reason to say, it's just dumb.
Were they in that leak? Were they
were
in
in
that leak?
Yeah, everybody was.
Yeah.
Everybody was, right? The only one that was pretty enough to have a folder was Square.
My bad. Can you continue, brother? Continue.
No, you good. That's basically it. I there was no reason for Capcom to say what they said. None at all. They just wanted to be me too. That was literally it. That was it.
And King, I want you to tailgate on that because it came out of nowhere, right? Because the talk really had been about Nintendo and kind of places where nobody's sitting there screaming, "Oh, go buy Capcom," and then Capcom was like, "Hey," it's almost like, you know, hey, if you want to buy me,
reverse psychology. Hey, they're not trying to buy us, but maybe you should
say
come
no. If you're trying to buy me, that's what it was like, bro.
I won't mess with him if he asks me.
He got money, but I'm gonna say no.
Moving stuff down.
I mean, Microsoft, if you really, I'm gonna say no. No.
I'll say no if you really try. Ending up pregnant. I say this. Everybody forgets the whole part of that thing. But we'll entertain a partnership. That part. That was the conversation. The conversation was, we will never be purchased, but we will entertain a partnership.
How that work?
That's like, yo, we won't go fully with you, but we'll entertain an open relationship. Bruh, that's like, I heard you getting ready to buy Sega, or you're going to make a partnership with Sega. See, the thing is, everybody keeps bringing up the fact that a U.S. company can't go over to Japan and purchase a company. And this is true. Unless you have a residence inside Japan. Mm-hmm. How long must you have that residence inside Japan? You must have that residence longer than 3 to 5 years. How long has Microsoft owned ZeniMax?
We how many years we in? 2, 3?
2.
Tango Games is based
in
where?
Japan.
Yep, in Japan.
So Microsoft has a residence where?
In Japan.
Yeah, you're right.
In Japan. Everybody,
they could probably do it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
It's a reason why Square name was on a dossier. It's a reason why Nintendo name was in the dossier. It's a reason why Sega was overlooked and looked at. It's reasons for all of this. People can't just move and say, I'm going to buy you or I'm going to buy you. There is laws in place in certain countries, right? And I can't see the reason why I know this because I want to buy property in the Philippines. My ultimate goal is to retire in the Philippines.
Okay. Respect.
So you must have somebody that lives there in order to buy land there. Or they have little sections there that you must renounce your other country. You can't have dual passport. You got to renounce and
you can't have
just
dual citizenship at
no.
all.
Wow. Oh, wow.
No.
That's why I want to go to Ghana.
That's the So your money better be good. Your money better be good. Okay. So it's different things, but you can be on a visa. You can keep extending your visa, but you'll be renting. You won't be owning. If you want to own, you can't have dual citizenship. You just gotta, it won't be no visa thing. That extends over to business because I was going for business purposes. I was going to become a distributor for XM Studio statues, and in doing so, I wanted to get a studio, do a storefront, do distribution. I have people over at Spec Fiction. I was going to work out a distribution deal with them and doing all the research to ultimately come up short because I would never own the property. I would have to rent. And the way they treat gaijin is different than they treat exactly natives, you know? So I only said this to say Microsoft is lining up their ducks to get companies and to do partnerships with companies. It is more feasible for them to do a partnership with Capcom, to do a partnership with Square, to do a partnership with Sega. It's better and more beneficial with them with less red tape, no FTC pulling in, none of this government overseeing, and then you still get the games. And then the whole goal is to get the games inside Game Pass. Yes, you can put the games on PlayStation. Sell it to them. We don't care. As long as these games is inside Game Pass and we can get these games to the people that's inside our ecosystem to show that it's a more attractive situation over here, we don't care if you're able to purchase the game someplace else. Do so. That's the thing. They're not going to go out there and purchase Sega. I know to break a lot of people's hearts. They're not going to go out there and purchase Capcom or Square. What they would do is partnerships. And if they so inclined to do so, that will be after the 3 to 5 year period that they have acquired Tango Games and have a Japanese company producing games under the Microsoft banner.
We're hearing about these AAA Japanese games are on the way. AAA exclusive Japanese games are on the way.
And it's so good to see. It's so good to see.
The TGS show was fantastic to see.
Fantastic. You got the Yakuza games, more Yakuza games coming. Not just coming to Game Pass. They are launching into Game Pass. That's major. Infinite Wealth. I love Yakuza 7, right? That game is amazing. And then to now know that I can just keep my subscription going and hop on Infinite Wealth immediately, day one. Beautiful. Perfect. It's a win. We listen, we're eating. And I know we're short on time, right? There's a few things I want to
do. Yeah, because I actually got, 7 minutes?
Yep, I'm about to get you about it. Bossred77 says, got my Xbox fixed for free on Microsoft Dime during the Red Ring of Death. Pay that ransom, Sony. Protect your customers. All jokes aside, protect your customers. Listen, a couple of things. Number one, if you haven't hit that like button, because that helps us out a whole bunch. Number two, in the description down below, go follow my brother Keith, right? Doing amazing things at the outerhaven.net. Much respect to my brother Keith for coming through and filling in bearing small shoes. And them shoes ain't big. And I'll play. I love you, B. I love you, B. I hope you feel better.
I'll tell you again, whenever you guys need me, I am here.
And then, of course,
I'm double checking to see right now if I follow you.
And of course, my brother King David, one of the 4 horsemen of the Iron Lords podcast. Again, brother, I know you got to get up out of here. So we have to end the show, but I appreciate you coming through. It's God's will for you to have popped up on this podcast the day your boy said he got a dip. Right?
And that ain't my boy. My boy still got his job.
Your boy still got his
job. That's I don't know that guy. Yo, I don't associate with rats, boy. That's not me, bro.
Listen,
nah, man.
I don't know what happened to my sister Floor Hug. I gotta call her. I gotta make sure she's okay because it's not like her to just dip. So I'm gonna call my sister and make sure she's okay. Keith, again, my brother, I appreciate you for coming through as always. King David, man, I appreciate you. We will be in the chat on Sunday.
Thank you.
I know the last show you guys had cut a little bit short, so we're gonna be there from beginning to end on Sunday because it is the Lord.
I gotta let everybody know Cog is fine. He had a carbon monoxide situation, and the fire department came and knocked on the door, told him to get out of his house now.
Save my boy.
You know. So we had the Peter Moore part 2. Peter Moore is a real dude, real stand-up guy. He was in the background with us, getting back and forth with us to make sure that thing happened. And when I started doing my research on him, to be honest with you, the first research I did was video. Going to just get, what interviews, the TED Talks and all that other stuff that he did to just get a gist and get a familiarity with him. But then for the second one, I couldn't go back to the same well to get a different result. I had to go to a new well, and I went to his Wikipedia, and his Wikipedia has a wealth of knowledge of what the man is about, and it's just mind blowing. You know, from the book to the foundation to the sports teams to everything. Everything about him exudes excellence. And I'm not gonna lie, he came through and he held his head like a CEO is supposed to. And that's the type of person that you want running your company. Someone who's going to stand up and take accountability. What I haven't seen in this whole thing with the Sony stuff is Jim standing up, taking accountability. He has never done it. He has always thrown his teams under the bus. Remember the team that with the what's that motorcycle zombie game? You know which one I'm talking about. The one that I wanted a part 2 for.
Oh, Days Gone.
Days
There
Gone.
you go.
Great game.
Right. He threw them under the bus.
Yeah, he did.
Said they
Ben
underperformed.
Studio, completely under the bus.
Right. And made Ben Studio a shadow studio when that game performed at the same level of Horizon. Right. So now you're picking and choosing who you like and who you don't like and stuff like that. So again, Phil didn't throw anybody under the bus when Halo didn't perform properly. He took the slings and arrows.
Yep.
Now, one time has that man ever thrown anybody under the bus? You got to look at your leaders to understand exactly who you want to follow. And if somebody acts in a cowardly manner at any point in time, believe what somebody shows you, not what they tell you. My mama always told me that somebody can talk to you in your face and tell you a lie, but if their actions prove that to be true, follow the actions, forget the words. Thank you, people, for having me on.
Hey, listen, we gonna end on that. Listen, you guys are amazing for rocking with us, man. Again, my brother Keith and my brother David, link is in the description. Make sure you go follow them, check them out, support them. We're gonna get up out of here, man. Hope all is well with my sister, Flo Hugger. I'm gonna go check up on her. With all that said, we'll see you guys next week. And we're out.